struggle is true. All my people stand firm, and I will stand with you.
I'm Andy Bestwick, founder of the Can brand, and host of the Defeating Can't podcast. Today I'm bringing you a story of resilience, passion, and an unrelenting pursuit of a dream. This episode takes us on a journey from the warm waters of Kauai to the towering waves of Nazaré, Portugal, one of the most legendary big wave surfing spots on the planet. At the heart of this story is longtime friend Kaya Waldman, whose determination and love of the ocean has led her to take on this epic challenge in life. She's guided by a tight-knit surf community, including best friend and fearless mentor, Maddie Anzivino. Kaya has surfed some of the biggest swells Hawaii has seen in recent years and competed in big wave surf contests like Red Bull Magnitude. But this is a whole other animal. She's pushing through the cold of the Atlantic and the nerves of learning how to get towed into waves towering over 20 feet. And this just isn't a story about surfing. It's about grit. It's about stepping outside your comfort zone. And it's what happens when you refuse to accept limitations. Beyond the waves, Kaya's balancing her schoolwork and launching her own business, proving that passion and perseverance truly go hand in hand. Join us as we dive into this incredible conversation that's sure to inspire you to take on your own Nazaré moments in life. Let's get started. It's great to have you on. And first off, I haven't talked to you in forever, so it's great to see you, great to be talking to you. And where are you located right now?
You too. It's really good to see you again. I'm back on Kauai.
Okay, so are you full-time on Kauai right now, or are you also...
Yeah.
Okay, all right, excellent. Close to Micah.
Yep, I'm living with him now. So
Are you at the house?
Yes.
No way, that's awesome. So, going back, Kaya and I know each other from... She helped out with the Can brand early on as the brand was growing. I got to meet Kaya through the family, Kevin and Cindy, who own Sign and Print and do all of the stickers. Every Can sticker in existence thus far is from them. And so kind of a neat introduction through Micah, Kaya's boyfriend, who we were just talking story as I was doing a sticker pickup as I would do when I was on island there. And he had just mentioned that was probably back in like 2018 or 2019, and you were just starting out. I think the Red Bull was the first big thing you were doing sort of professionally. Maybe can you take me back in time and explain what that was and kind of how you got started with that?
Yeah, so I think back in 2018, I originally got invited to Queen of the Bay, and that was the first ever women's only big wave surf contest. But unfortunately, during that year, we didn't get the swell. And then COVID hit, and so they couldn't have like a traditional in-person surf contest. And so Red Bull partnered with them and they created Red Bull Magnitude, which is a digital women's only big wave surf contest. And so luckily I got invited back to that. And yeah, that was pretty life-changing for me.
Yep. And thankfully we were a little bit along for the ride, riding the coattails of your success. So always thankful that you've repped Can. It was just such a cool time, I remember, to see and to learn about your history. And obviously you grew up on Kauai and you had an uncle that was very influential in your surfing. Can you kind of go back into that time period and sort of set you on that course a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So I think what has allowed me to do what I love is the people in my life. And he is what instilled the love of the ocean in me when I think I was 11 years old when I first began surfing, and he kind of saw it in me before I even realized it. And he always believed in me. And, it was just really nice to have somebody that's like, you can follow your dreams, and if you work hard, you can achieve anything. Luckily, along the way, I've been very fortunate to meet people like you who have also supported me. And I think now, looking back, like one of my biggest goals is to be that person for someone, hopefully in the future.
Well, the audience that'll be listening, it was very minor, but I was super grateful to get connected and be inspired and even get to surf with you some. Living on the mainland now, I certainly miss Waiahai, and my favorite break lefts is just the best. Obviously, you've surfed all over the world, and that's something we're going to get into because that sort of sparked me really wanting to have this conversation, is not only to catch up on all of life, which will kind of track down all the great things you're involved in right now. But you got to tell me about Nazaré. That was just, it's funny, I was just speaking with, you met Shale Shore at least once, and that was sort of my surf buddy on Kauai. And she called to give me some news about things she was up to and all that. And I just mentioned, I'm going to have to get off pretty soon because I'm talking to Kaya Waldman about surfing Nazaré. And she lost her shit. She was so excited. She was like, oh my gosh, I have 1,000 questions. And I was like, well, write them down because I need to ask them. Because obviously, if you don't know what Nazaré is, it's this geological anomaly, a canyon in Portugal that Garrett McNamara found. I'm sure there's more to that story, but I saw it through the documentary 100-Foot Wave, which he was chasing. And that guy's a mad scientist, right? Along with his crew, trying to find the largest waves, on the planet. And a gentleman, I guess, in Portugal wrote him and told him about this anomaly, this giant wave. And Garrett had the curiosity to travel to Portugal and start checking it out. And it has spun up this incredible, now you see these crowds. I get chicken skin thinking of it right now. The enormity of what that spun up as now, I would say one of the premier big wave surfing locations on the planet. And so to get to surf there, literally just to go there as a tourist is just an incredible opportunity. But I have to hear the background on how did you end up with that invite?
So it was a dream come true for sure. And it all started because of my best friend, Maddie Anzivino. And she's a very important person in my life, and I'm really lucky to have her as a friend. And also, she's my inspiration. She's a North Shore lifeguard on Oahu, fearless water woman, and just all around good human. So, anyway, she was invited to a big wave award ceremony in Nazaré this past October for one of her tow waves that she got at Jaws. But her real goal while she was there, she wanted to try and surf Nazaré. And while she was there, she made some incredible connections and she did it. She got some amazing waves and
That's awesome. Yeah, Maddie's phenomenal. She was also part of that Red Bull Magnitude and obviously just a phenomenal athlete and a lifeguard. And I would love to hear her story and tell her story someday too. Just all of the stuff she's worked hard at and obviously is inspiration to you. And when we talk about tow-in, obviously that's for people that water ski, it's a jet ski pulling you into the largest wave ever. And it's something, they started, I guess that started with Laird Hamilton back in the day in that group and figuring out you can't paddle into. What size wave would you say would be the limit of someone being able to paddle into?
I don't know. It just depends kind of on the break and how it can handle the wave. But yeah, it's pretty big. You definitely don't want to try and paddle.
Right. And obviously they do the Eddie a cow, they paddle into those. So I might not even be asking the right questions when it comes to that. But a big component of being able to get into those waves is that jet ski. So Maddie makes it to Nazaré and catches some waves. And then does she just tell you about it or she networks you in or how do you get qualified? Honestly, I'm just thinking about it now. What's the size and scope of the wave that typically you're looking at?
We were there, it was pretty much 20 foot every single day or bigger. It was crazy to see big waves that consistently because I feel like here in Hawaii, we get a big swell. Everybody stops their entire life and you gotta go because otherwise it's not going to be there probably the next day. But there it's consistently big and it's pretty amazing.
Okay, so you find out from Maddie and walk me through that. Tell me that story, how all that unfolded. And also you got to tell me that mindset of when you start to think about doing it, the risk involved is tremendous. So please give us that background.
Okay, so Maddie went in October. She conquered one of her lifelong dreams and she's been just super amped on Portugal as a country and just Nazaré, the town, and the wave and everything since then. For me, I never really thought that ever surfing Nazaré was really a possibility, just because I've never tow surfed, I've never touched cold water before, and I just don't even have the gear for anything. But I've always also had the dream to go and surf that wave. And so when she came back, she kind of put it into perspective for me, like, we can do it. And if this is something you want to do, then we can make it happen. And then ever since she went, she knew that she wanted to spend more of her winter season out there. And so I was like, okay, kind of playing with the idea, could I pull this off? Like, could we do it? Like, I've always wanted to go on a surf trip with my best friend. So I was kind of just excited for that part too. And then when the end of November came around, I took a trip to Oahu to visit her and do some work over there. And she took me on her jet ski and she taught me everything that she knows about tow surfing. And so, because of her, that's the only way I was able to even think about going to Nazaré.
Yeah, that's a huge aspect, right? So Maddie on Oahu's towing you into some stuff. What's the biggest stuff you got towed into over on Oahu?
So, we were actually able to only go out one day,
Okay.
and it was maybe 1 to 2 foot.
Wow. I wasn't
But
expecting
it
that. All
was
right.
nope. So that was my only tow experience ever before going
No
there,
way.
and
Okay.
I just wanted to know all the mechanics of working with your partner because, as
Sure.
you said, you're only as good as your team for when you're doing tow surfing. And so just the communication, like being able to understand what they're doing, their timing, getting on the sled, everything.
But you did learn all the mechanics of it and everything that needed to occur. And okay, so prior to going over there, obviously just kind of for listeners to get an idea, you've surfed big Red Bull magnitude and all kinds of other things. What's around the biggest wave that you've caught?
Surfed pretty much, I would say, all of the biggest swells that have come through Hawaii since 2016.
That's
I
so
don't,
amazing. So we're
but
talking 20 plus feet or more. Yeah, I know
say,
that
yeah,
they're not always measuring them and we don't always know exactly, but in that
yeah.
ballpark or above. So, all right, so then what extra gear do you need to, is it all the same gear that you're taking over for it, or is it a different kind of wetsuit? I forgot the safety measure that it has where it makes you buoyant and all that.
So, yes, it's a crazy amount of gear, and that's something if I were to go back, I'd like to have like a lot more dialed. But I was very lucky. Maddie had an extra wetsuit. It was a 5.4 millimeter full wetsuit with the hood and everything. And then my friend Siri, she let me use her inflate vest that you put the CO2 canisters in because I still don't have one of those. And then I took my Patagonia one, the one that
Yeah.
you helped me get
Yep,
with the
that's right.
pads in it.
Yeah.
So Maddie was the best. She got me booties for Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome. Cold, or is that a safety precaution?
That's for the cold.
Right?
Yep,
I just didn't even have an idea of what it's like.
cold water.
Okay. All right. So that is a quick question. I gotta, have you surfed in cold water much? Wow.
Never.
Okay, so that's another barrier. So you text me on the flight over because I had no idea, or I don't know how, or we messaged each other or something, and I I sent some sort of message about getting your mind right because I was worried about you. But obviously, that had to be a huge component of the whole thing. So as you're preparing weeks before, can you speak to the maybe something confident or something that you turn to over and over again to just sort of remind yourself that this is something you would be capable of and that you're confident you could do?
When we decided that we were going to pull the trigger, we bought our plane tickets and we decided, okay, we're locking in. We put our heads down, we did our training, and we put in the work. And I feel like just kind of falling back on my training helped me a lot. And I really want to just honestly be in the right mindset because if you're out there and you're not, everything can go wrong in a split second.
That's awesome. So, all right. And then the conversation with family, you got to tell me about that because obviously they all know what it's about. So you talked to Micah and probably mom and brother. And how did that go?
My mom was not too fond of the idea. but she knew that it's something I really wanted to do, and she's like, "Okay, as long as you're training and you feel ready." Like, but yeah, I'm really lucky. I have a really good support system around me.
So, and your boyfriend Micah went over, who's an incredible surfer too. Was this something he was interested in doing, or he's not really been interested in the big wave stuff so much, has he?
Nope, he's
Yeah.
definitely happy to support me.
Let's talk about the connection you have. So Maddie introduces you to somebody. Is there a vetting process? I mean, I would think that the group over there would be asking, okay, what's her resume? What's her surf resume look like? Was there any kind of an interview or correspondence that had to give them confidence, or was it all just Maddie just saying she's good?
I'm not too sure how all of that went down, but I do know that they knew that I have never really toe surfed before,
Okay.
but we're really lucky because the person that we went with, Antonio Cardoso, he is, I would say, in my opinion, one of the best drivers out there
Wow.
and an incredible coach. It was amazing to work with him. And yeah, I feel really fortunate.
Yeah, I would think that you would have to be super coachable, right? Like that would be, and I would say that's an incredible personality trait to have. And don't forget you have that, because I'm sure that's helped you level up over and over again. I would think that would be an important aspect. So you get to Portugal. First off, how's the town? Was it all you thought it would be? It's a beautiful town on the coast. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I was kind of mind blown just from the beginning.
Yeah.
So we mainly stayed in Nazaré, but that town is incredible. There's so much history there, and it's kind of like an old historic fishing village. And just being around that and knowing that they were a community of water people too, even before surfing, and just seeing that they still practice a lot of their culture traditions, and yet they're still embracing surfing, even though it's relatively new, is really special. And people are so welcoming and just like the happiest, kindest people. I love the food there so much.
Oh, I bet it's amazing.
So yeah, it was just beautiful, like incredible coastlines and mountains, and yeah, it was amazing.
Okay, so was there a practice run? Did you go out with the ski and just sort of see the wave? Because obviously, when you see it from the vantage point of what I've seen, from the shoreline, the photos that you see, it's shocking because the wave is it's not shore break, but if you're in the impact zone, right, you're in a lot of trouble, right? There's I don't know if it's not reef, it's rock, right?
It's, yes, along the left side of it's not really like a bay, but like the
Yeah.
break.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, rocky cliff.
Did you have a chance to get on a ski with someone and go see that, or was it just from the first day you're out there to catch waves? How did that go?
To be very strategic with the day that I chose, just
Okay.
because it's really expensive to go out with the driver.
Oh,
So like
okay.
basically you hire them,
Right.
and it's very expensive. So I pretty much could only afford to do one day with all the other travel expenses. So what I decided is, because of my limited knowledge with toe surfing,
Hmm.
I didn't want to put myself in a position that could potentially like be dangerous to others, especially the driver.
Right.
So looking at the forecast, there was like 20 to 30-foot days, but there is one day that was a little bit smaller.
Okay.
And so leading up to those days, we kind of just sat on the beach. We went surfing another spot down the road, and we kind of are just like studying everything,
Mhm.
understanding how it works out there. And then on that day that was a little bit smaller, that's when we planned to go.
Man, I appreciate that so much about you. Like that's so smart. A lot of people would just try and jump into the biggest day. And okay, on the day you're going out, obviously you have all your gear prepped. Is it an early morning thing? Is it kind of just with the tides, or how did you determine more of an exact time that you go out? And then could you describe, so the surf lineup, that morning and the tides and all that, and then also is it choreographed or managed by any organization or group, leaving, or is it just a free for all?
So it's kind of like, to my understanding, like you can go out and tow surf anytime you want with
Mhm.
your team,
Okay.
but your driver has to have like a special license to drive the ski.
Okay.
And kind of similar to Hawaii, how like It's kind of locally regulated. If you
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing, you're gonna get told very fast.
Sure.
So that morning, I woke up
Nazaré
super
Brotherhood.
early. Yeah.
All right.
Yep. So yeah, they definitely like they have it really dialed out there.
Uh-huh.
And because of that, like I just like what so our driver Antonio, he also goes by Toe. So Toe, who is towing us in, I put my full trust in him. And like something that he told me is you're pretty much only as good as your driver and your team out here. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen for his call. Like he thinks this is a good day.
Okay.
And it's like really nice wind. And while we were there, there's actually like a lot of windy days. So it's like a rare day. So I was like, okay, I'm really
On
excited.
offshore typically.
Both.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just a
All
lot
over.
of wind.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. And so that morning, I woke up early, kind of just waited for him to be ready.
Mhm.
And then we met him down at the harbor. So the harbor is like, okay, so here's the town of Nazaré,
Mhm.
and then there is a cliff, and then the other side of the cliff is like where the wave is.
Mhm.
But then the harbor is like at the end of the town of Nazaré.
Okay.
So we met him there and we got all of our gear on. It felt like really stiff, like I've never worn 3 layers of stuff to search. So that was another learning curve. And then got everything ready. It's pretty cool how their harbor is over there. Like they have all the jet skis, like a little dock area for them.
Yeah, it
It's
looked
super
really
nice.
cool in the
Like,
documentary. It looked, and that made me appreciate, like, wow, they're really bought into this. Like, they really
yes.
are supporting it.
Yeah, it was next level since they all have their little jet ski area. We got on the ski, and then they even have the place you can gas up. You don't have to leave the water to
Sure,
get gas, which is so nice.
that's great.
Me, Maddie, and Toe, we went on the ski and we drove. It takes maybe 5 minutes to cross past the town, like around the cliff.
Mhm.
Even just being on the back of the jet ski, I was getting so nervous just because we were already going fast. The adrenaline was
Yeah.
kicking
Oh,
in.
I'm sure. So you, Toe, and Maddie are on the ski. Are you already on the, what's the rack called? What's the ladder thing?
Sled.
Oh, the sled.
Or
Yeah. Okay. Heading out there. All right. So then, yeah, give me the play by play. Like, how long are you out there? Is it hours? Is it minutes, or what's that look like?
say that it was about an hour and a half.
Okay.
So, yeah, because we come from the harbor around the cliff, like you can't see the lineup
Yeah.
before you're there. Like you can watch it on Surfline, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we just like we drove around, get out there, kind of assess, and then Maddie's like, I was like, can you go first? And being the good friend that she is, she went first. And it was really cool because I got to be on the ski and watch her tow into the waves.
Sure.
And that was really cool because just like seeing her be able to do it gave me the confidence. And it was just amazing watching her. Like, she's really good at towing.
Probably done it plenty. On a
Yeah.
while. So does she catch a nice one or a couple, or how's that go?
So her first wave, I remember I was like, okay, this is kind of a bomb. Like, I was like, you got this. And she surfs it perfectly. And
Of
then
course.
out the back, I just see like a big spray. She did a huge turn. I
Oh,
was like, okay,
sick.
she's
No
ripping
way.
already. Like,
That's
it was
awesome.
so sick.
Yeah.
That was like the best moment for me.
So then it's your turn. And what kind of give me that play by play and how it went?
So, toe surfing is very physically taxing
Okay.
because even just like being on the rope, like just towing on the flat water,
Tension.
it requires so much tension. Like every muscle in your body is like
Sure.
burning.
Yeah.
And so maybe after she got, I think it was like 5 waves or so,
Hmm.
she's like, okay, like I'll take a break and you're going now. And they're like, okay, you're going. And I was like, okay, I have to go. Yeah, so I went on, yeah, I put the board on and just like getting in the straps, everything is still like really new to me.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
even just like one of the hardest things is like when you're in the water, your feet are in the straps and you're like holding the rope and then you say clear and then he starts to drive and like you got to get up.
Hmm.
The get up can be kind of challenging. It's just like figuring out like the right positioning, the right strength, everything.
It's not like on a
And so
Doyle.
Nope.
It's a little bit
Good
more.
training though, good
Good
training.
training. That's the first time I learned to
Yes.
water ski, or whatever you would call it, was on a wave storm at Wailuas.
No way.
Yeah, I'm sure it's totally different. But so really quick, the difference too for people is that obviously surfing, you wax your board and you're barefoot. And can you explain the binding or the boot or whatever I don't even know how to picture what that is. How are you connected to the board?
Oh, yeah, you have foot straps and they're just like they're not gonna lock you in, but you just kind of like slip your feet under them.
Hmm.
And that's kind of to help you stay on the board and get up from when you're doing your get up to get on the back of the rope.
Okay.
And the board is a lot smaller than my big wave board. So the one we were on was
No
a
kidding.
five
Okay.
six.
No way. You're on a five
Yep,
six. Normally, what would you paddle into?
a 10-3.
Wow.
So
That's
yep, it's a
wild.
lot heavy.
Okay.
So that was another thing too. Like when you are done with your wave,
Hmm.
you take your feet out of the strap and you have to like pick up the toe board with one hand and get on the back of the sled with another hand. And just
Yeah.
like putting that board on the sled
Right.
it's a lot of or it's takes a lot of strength.
And Maddie made it look easy.
Yes, she can lift a lot of weight. She's
Yeah,
very strong.
I know. So give me your runs. How did they go?
For me, it was very challenging, like
Okay.
dealing with all the jet ski
Hmm.
mechanics. But like somehow when I was on the wave, I felt really, really good.
So you caught. All right. So
And
you're burying the headline here. All right. Tell me. All
so
right.
fun.
So was it the first, second one you tried, third attempt? Give me how that wave selection went and the one that you caught, how that went.
So what happens is you work with the driver, but
Okay.
because this is my first time, he was kind of just selecting the waves
Yeah.
for me.
Uh-huh.
You have to read it to know when to like, he'll tell you when to let go, but sometimes you might not hear him.
Hmm.
The first wave might have been one of my best waves actually, somehow.
That's awesome.
It was so fun. Like we only went for lefts. Like you can go for rights out there, but the day we were out there, all the lefts are better, which is my advantage because I'm a goofy foot.
Actually, yeah, I wondered how that would play into it. So that would help you.
Huge
Uh,
advantage for me.
a huge advantage.
And,
Okay, so that's awesome. Is that a question they ask up front? I'm just curious
uh,
if they're curious if you're regular or goofy, or does that matter to them?
so me and Maddie originally we were gonna share a board,
Oh yeah.
but you know how I mentioned the foot straps?
I was gonna
You
say,
have
yeah, those
to.
would have to be
Mhm.
rotated. And back to the foot straps really quick, are those where you would normally place your feet?
Yes.
Okay,
So
so
we have
they
to
adjust
set it
them
up.
to that. Oh, they set it up to that.
So we had like she had like a little screwdriver, and then like you take out the screws and like put it where you want your
But
feet.
or did you have to look at a picture?
I didn't deal with any of that.
Oh, you didn't? So how did they know?
No. She,
Like, do you step on a board just on the ground, and they're just like, oh,
yeah,
that's.
so
But how do you know? Like,
we
I mean, I kind of would roughly know, and I barely surf, but they knew. When you stepped onto the board, they were like, "Is this where you're gonna be?" And they said, "Yeah, that's where I stand." Is that
yep.
okay?
So we like originally we were going to share her board and just like unscrew the straps in the water. But then Toe was really nice and he's like, I'm Goofy Foot, like you can just we'll take out two boards and you
Oh,
can borrow
cool.
my
Oh,
board.
that's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm so happy
probably
because
got a
I didn't want
deluxe
to.
board too.
Yep. It was really I was like, oh, I got like the best equipment out here.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, it was so cool. Unscrew in the water.
And was it epic? Like, did you kind of log that moment in your mind and like just tell me the stoke? Was it just off the charts? Well,
I never forget. Yeah. I was like pure just like joy and pure adrenaline and it's like in that moment it became real. Like I just lived out one of my lifelong dreams
man,
and
so
yeah,
happy for you. That is so cool. And
thank
so
you.
deserved, right? Like a female surfer that's taken all the crap and cracks and leveled up and just done it with a smile and just kept going. And I just gotta compliment you because I've never seen you get hardened by it or be rude or you've always been like one of the kindest people in the water. And there's a lot of friendly
Thank
people
you.
out there, but seriously, like it's Araya is one of my favorite people to
Me
surf
too.
with because she's just the coolest, happiest, and actually probably one of the most athletic people always in the water. So it's kind of fun because you can always just tell a great surfer because it's just they've simplified it and there's like no anxiety about it. They'll catch with anyone around them or near them and they'll like carve on through people like me and not bothered. It does say a lot about like the time in the water you've put in and kind of what spirit you bring to the whole thing because there's a lot to that, I think. So super cool.
Yeah.
Very happy, very proud of you if I can say so. Just super cool. So what you caught a couple or one or how'd it go?
I got maybe like 10 waves.
What?
And
Oh, what?
then I was tacked and I was like, hey, my arms aren't working anymore.
No.
Now,
Okay,
yep,
so now probably your training is going to be in and around not so much paddling, but probably like stability and like tension on the, I don't know what you would do, but you're probably stoked
totally.
to do more toe in now, right?
Yep. It made me realize a couple things.
Yeah.
It made me really appreciate having that team and surfing with a team and their level of expertise.
Yeah.
And honestly, the toe surfers are so strong. Their stamina is incredible. But it also made me realize my love for paddle surfing, and it's just like allows you to have that connection with the ocean. It's, just you and your board. But I
Yeah,
think
I
in the
see that.
future,
Yeah.
when I get to have a little more room to have like, I don't know, maybe get a jet ski one day.
Yeah, there you go. And then
Yep,
have Micah tow you in. He'd be
yep,
awesome.
that's our secret plan.
Yeah, I love that plan. And then he would get really good at it and I would totally trust him.
The best, yeah.
Yeah, he'd be an extra protective, obviously. So
Yeah.
10, what is a regular day? I mean, is that a lot
Gosh,
or
they'll go for like those guys are crazy. Guys and girls out there, like they
yeah,
can last for hours and
that's
then
cool.
maybe they'll come in, take a lunch break, and then maybe go back out.
Sounds like
Like,
snow skiing. Like we didn't
yep.
even, we're like just a power bar in the pocket and then just go until
Yeah.
you fall over.
It's incredible how easy they make it look out there. I have so much respect for them.
Yeah,
And
no kidding. Really cool. And I'm super happy for you. And
thank you.
what's next? So wait, let's dig into some life stuff really quick. School full time right now?
Yep, I'm graduating in May.
Oh wow, that's
So
awesome. And
yeah.
what's the degree? Marketing, of
So
course.
yep.
So a
So
marketing degree and Kalia Media takes off. Perfect for
goal
me. I need all
hopefully.
the help I can get.
Awesome. Awesome.
So Kalia Media, we do have to plug that. That is your company that does all kinds of marketing and multimedia and all kinds of stuff for clients on Kauai and wherever you are. Am I right?
Yeah.
And that's going pretty well.
It's been a really good journey so far,
Yeah.
and I'm excited. I'm gonna hopefully be launching in the summertime, the relaunch.
We'll chat offline or something, but I'd love to hear all about it because I could use all the help I can get. But that's amazing. And okay, so that's going on. And what else? Any other work or stuff you got going on right now, or anything you're doing?
Well, focusing on school,
Okay,
focusing on the business,
good. All
and
right.
just my next goal is getting into the best shape I possibly can be in
Oh, okay.
just
So
surfing.
what's that goal for?
For next winter, I want to be able to, and I
Sure.
just want to feel like more of an asset in the water. And
No,
yeah.
I love that. And what would that take for you? What goals or how are you going to go about that? Do you have like a model? I mean, obviously Maddie would be someone perfect probably, but she can give you a training plan or something that you can, because I know how tenacious you are.
She is awesome. Like when she's doing a workout, she'll send it to me.
Oh, okay,
But
cool. All right.
yeah, so far we just keep each other accountable and I'm training every day.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
maybe a tip for people. Can you talk a little bit about how you be able to keep things simple so that you can chase the dream?
I feel like I really hit the jackpot in life somehow. Like I get to do what I love. I have good people around me and everything else is just a bonus. But I
That's
think I'm not afraid to work hard and do what it takes.
That's awesome. That's a huge trait to have. So, well, I love all of this stuff. Thanks so much for sharing the story and jumping on.
I'm just really grateful to catch up with you. And yeah, thanks for having me on the podcast. And
All right. Thanks, Kaya, so much. I'll be catching up with you again soon, and hopefully I'll get back onto Kauai and we'll have a session at Lefts.
Struggle is true. All my people stand firm, and I will stand with you.